Okay, I'll
Okay.
start with Man U. They're creating a lot of opportunities, but they're not scoring, and they're losing. And a lot of people, like Warif, believe that now Man U's in a fight to avoid relegation. I don't think it's that bad, but let's see what you have to say, Kunle.
Yeah, I don't think uh, we're on 29 points, and we're 10 points away from the next team that's in a relegation battle. So that team would have to score 10 points without scoring no points.
Yeah, I think that's impossible. That's just rhetoric. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead. Yeah.
I mean, three wins and one draw out of the next 15 odd games, and we're safe. We're not going to do anything in the league. I think that once we win those 3 or 4 games, we can do a little bit more experimenting with the youth
Are you guys
teams.
going to go to Europa? I don't even know if you're going to make it to Europa next
The
year.
only,
Yeah.
now I think it's impossible because we didn't do anything serious in the transfer window. You know, you get rid of 3 players and then you don't get anyone in. I mean, we got Patrick Dorgu in, but that's one winger. And for the way we play, it's nothing wrong with the players we got rid of. But when you get rid of players, the point is to replace them. You know, so and then if you're not going to replace them, why are you bringing Amorim in at this time of the year? The whole point of bringing him in with a new system is they're going to give him new players so he can bring a new direction to the club. You bring in a new coach, you don't give him any, you don't have any money, you don't give him any players. What do you expect him to do? He's a coach, he's not a magician. And
Yeah.
it's because of the low IQ of United fans. You know, they were shouting Ten Hag out, Ten Hag out, Ten Hag out, and they didn't care. You know, they don't think. And this happened with Rangnick, and now they're blaming Amorim. You know, then they blamed Ten Hag, then they blamed Solskjaer. Okay, Solskjaer was justified. Then they blame Rangnick.
Then
You know,
Then
and
finally
they
they
blame
blamed
Mourinho.
Then finally they blamed God.
Uh-huh. So if you're going to, I mean, the problem is the owners. If you look at Barcelona or
Good
Madrid,
evening, everyone.
different
Yeah, hello,
managers.
Arif.
Yeah, if you look at Barcelona, you look at Madrid, even in Scotland, you look at Rangers, you look at Celtic. No matter what coach they bring in, Rangers and Celtic are always going to come in first and second. No matter what coach you bring in from Madrid or Barcelona, they're going to finish in the third or fourth because
Okay,
they
so
have
Kunle,
only,
here's what Man
we're
U
the
needs to
only
do,
club
and here's what
that don't
and
invest club.
yeah.
We're the
Here's what
club that
Man U needs to do. There's only one solution to this problem. Let's look at Barcelona. Barcelona has La Masia. La Masia is a university that teaches kids how to play football, and there's a system. There's a system in playing. All of the players understand the language. They go to school and they learn it. And the La Masia is bringing forward players. And no matter who the owner of Barcelona is, Barcelona has a system in place, which means they have, just like foreign teams, they have technical advising team, which was started by Johan Cruyff back a long time ago for Barcelona. They have a system. So what that means for Man U, whether they bring in Amorim early or late, they should have a system in place where everybody is in agreement and moving on with a style of play. Bringing in new coaches with new styles of play is not going to work. Man U has to have an enshrined style of play that people can follow, the same way which is going on with Barcelona. What do you think, Afalabi? Then we'll get to Kunle. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite agree with you. And I think that's exactly what happened to Eric Ten Hag as well. When Ten Hag came, they expected him to play the kind of football we saw at Ajax. But when the guys saw that that kind of football was going to take a longer time to implement and the players were not good enough for that style, he had to switch
Yeah.
to something he felt would give them instant results. And at the end of the day, he got found out because it was obvious that the players were not good enough. And if you
And
look at,
also, even if it's instant, it's not a long-term plan. It's not a
yes,
long-term
it's not
plan.
a long-term plan. So I think
Yeah.
they should have what Ragnick wanted to do was from the football director level, he wanted to implement a system, then help them to get a coach that will make that system become universal, even up to the academy. So if you are going to stick with Eric Ten Hag, ensure that you have the balls to stomach bad results. Now you throw out
Yes.
Ten Hag with a few months into the season, and then you bring on Amorim. I think that was a very bad decision. They should have sent Ten Hag away at the end of the season and hired Amorim, or had the balls to at least retain Ten
Yeah,
Hag
to continue.
and
Yeah, they
stick
need
to his
continuity.
principles
Yeah.
and allow
So
him
for
to
example
embrace
now,
this. Because all these
so for example
changes,
now,
it takes time. You cannot bring a
so
new pattern and want to implement
yeah.
it immediately. And United,
So for example,
Manchester United, sorry, just to cut in front of you,
no, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
United's
Go ahead. Sorry, my fault.
recruitment has been horrendous. They have made a lot of bad deals in the transfer market, and it takes
Yeah.
months and years to correct that. I think that has been the bane of their progress, really.
Yeah, and so if now that they have Amorim, hold on, now that they have Amorim, regardless of whether they're losing now or not, do they even have a plan moving forward? Because if they have a plan moving forward, once this season is over or close to the end of the season, when they know they're not going to be relegated, they should already start making plans for the next transfer windows and getting the players they want. That's what I think. What do you think, Kunle? Then we'll go to Warif.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
the owners that have ruined the club because if Ineos saved the Glazers, and the Glazers are there to reap profit and to rape the club and just to make profit of it.
yeah.
If they had lost to Qatar, if Jim Ratcliffe was brought in because he said, "Oh yeah, I'm from Manchester, I care about Manchester," if he had just shut his bloody mouth and stayed away, we would have debt right now, and we would have all the money to do everything we need. So I have
Yeah.
absolutely no pity for Ineos saying they have no money. Because if they had just shut up and did nothing, we wouldn't have this problem. So I blame them squarely. They can't buy players. They don't have the money to run such a big club. And the small money they do, they're running on profit. You can't have a system like Barcelona because Barcelona cares. These owners
About
don't
winning.
care. Yeah, they
Yeah.
care about winning. You cannot win competitions if you're trying to make a profit at the same time. No club does that. Every time you make profits, these clubs put the profit back into the club. In Manchester United, they take it out. We've got all these young players coming in, and the dream is they're all going to play. Let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to sell half of those players for profit.
So
That's what's
Kunle,
going to happen. That's
so
why these
Kunle,
owners go.
So, Clay, here's where we get into economics. So here's a difference. Spain is one of those countries in which their money is not as strong as, or is not a big economic superpower, but they can feed each other. So their national, I'm pretty sure their national bank f covers up any losses that teams like Barcelona would have because they want national glory in sports. So what I'm saying is that Spain is not like England or France and countries which spend money on imperialism and on weapons. They have enough money to spend on feeding themselves, living a simple life. They're not a really glamorous European country. But what I'm saying is they have enough resources to pump into a team like Barcelona and into their international football because that's part of their culture and heritage. So what I'm saying basically is that the government through the banking spends on that to make sure that it's, but they don't have a super economy like Britain and the US where everybody's in debt because of military wars and everything. Spain is an agricultural country, so they're able to bring these young immigrants and stuff and provide them what they need. And it's not because they don't have inflation with their money. It's okay. You see what I'm trying to say, Kun? Like, what do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, be a big empire, empirical nation competing with the British, the Spanish Armada, and all their adventures in Latin Americas and all their colonies.
Yeah.
Yes, to pull back from that when they had the bits of fascism and
So my
all this.
argument is that they have an economy which can afford to train football players because they don't have
Yeah.
the same finance expenses that England and America have with getting
Well, I
into
think
debt because of war.
it's
Yeah.
tough. I mean, Barcelona is Catalan. They don't like to call themselves Spanish. You call them
Yeah, you know what
Barcelona
I'm trying to say.
Spanish.
But whatever it is, they have the resources to train their players.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree. I agree with that. They have the resources, but it's not so much the resources with these two clubs compared to Manchester United in particular. Liverpool have the resources. Chelsea have the resources. Tottenham have, and they have the will.
The will.
United owners do not have the will to win. They want to
Yeah,
make money, and then it would be nice to win. Barcelona want to win. Madrid want to win. Liverpool want to win. Chelsea want
yeah.
to win. Whether they get it right
And they're not,
or
and
wrong,
Kool-Aid, and less people not understand. They're not working at a loss either. It's just that
yeah,
they're
and
not
keep
making super profits. Yeah,
they keep
yeah,
going after the coach, after the coach, after the coach. If this was a well-run club, every coach would perform reasonably well. If all
yeah,
your coaches, you've got two hipster coaches that have failed in Ten Hag and Amorim that is failing. You've got two established coaches, the Dutchman, Mourinho and Van Gaal, two
yeah,
established coaches that failed. You had Ranić, who was a world-class coach, that failed. And
yeah.
when this is going on, you cannot but the fans keep blaming the coaches, and then the owners get this escape, get out of jail free card because our fans are
Yeah,
so f***ing
yeah,
dumb, and they keep going.
yeah.
It just
The
makes
parents
me
should go on strike
go on
too.
a
Yeah.
circle.
Okay.
I mean,
Thank you, Clay. We have 3 things to talk about